We back for another review. This is gonna be covering Mortal Kombat 2021, and wow. So I've watched every Mortal Kombat movie that's come out since the first one. I'm not sure if I saw it in theaters or not, but you got the first Mortal Kombat that came out, and it was I don't want to say cheesy, but you remember the first Mortal Kombat. It has begun as they're on the boat, and then you got Johnny Cage and his angst with Sonya Blade that didn't know how to fight, and she was pretty much relegated to a damsel in distress the entire movie. You had a random katana for no reason in the first Mortal Kombat. Scorpion and Sub-Zero with a no backstory, but they were working together. Guru. You had all the main characters you would expect to see from the first video game in the movie, and they did the movie well, especially for the time in the early '90s where the special effects wasn't all that good. I think they cut up like the Ninja Turtle costumes to make Guru or something like that. But anyway, I digress. You're not here for that. You're here for Mortal Kombat 2021. And is it better than the first one? It's barely better than the first one, like barely. Like it's either they're equal, or some people will say the first one is still king. But it's barely squeaking by. And this is me. I had literally just finished watching this movie. What, 5 minutes, 15 minutes at best. So it's still fresh on the brain. So it's barely better than the first one, if it's better. And if it's not better than the first one, it's barely worse than the first one. Is it better than Annihilation? Way better than Annihilation. Like, if you like Annihilation, you just like Mortal Kombat. You just want to see fucking Scorpion and Sub-Zero and people doing their fucking thing on the screen without you having to put in the fucking brain power to fucking do combos and shit that the games do now. So I'm gonna try my best not to spoil anything. At least I'm gonna give you a spoiler warning. I'm probably just gonna go with the spoiler warning once I get into that. But the gist of it, if you're on the fence about if you want to spend the money on an HBO Max subscription to watch this film, it's worth it. It's worth the subscription for a month to watch this film. And I believe Godzilla and Kong is still on HBO Max. So you might be able to watch 2 films for the price of a month subscription. And it's worth it if that's your plan. If it's just this movie, it's still worth it, because if you go to the theater, it's gonna be $20 to go see this movie in the theater. In a month or a couple months, the movie will be on Amazon Prime for the direct demand video deal that they have worked out, and they're gonna charge you 20 bones for that. So you can do HBO Max and watch this film and everything else that they have for a month to see if you really want the sub or not. Or you can wait for it to be on Amazon Prime and just pay the 20 bones to watch the film itself. Now that, in that case aspect, if you're doing Amazon Prime and you're trying to spend 20 bones to rent it, hell no. Fuck no, it's not worth it. But if you're doing HBO Max, because HBO Max honestly is the best hustle right now, because like I said, for me, I jumped on it because I wanted to watch Godzilla vs. Kong. I saw it in Tanzania in Africa in theaters, and I wanted to watch it again, so I paid the subscription. And you know what I'm saying, and my sub just happened to still be good for Mortal Kombat, and I would have paid the sub to watch Mortal Kombat. And also they have other shows and other properties on there, and they have the entire DC library on there. They have a lot of stuff, so it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? Watch Mortal Kombat, watch Snyder Cut, watch, you know, Harley Quinn, all that good stuff. If you into that stuff. If not, you know, you still have the other HBO movies that are on there. You got Lovecraft Country. You got The Nevers. You have what was it? Not Feast of Saints, but Raised by Wolves. Raised by Wolves is on there. So if you're gonna spend your $20 or 15, I'm sorry, not even $20, $15 for HBO Max to watch this film, yes, it's worth it. Is it worth the $20 rental fee that Amazon is gonna charge you in a couple of months? No. Is it worth the $10 to $15 that you would pay in theaters or $20 that you would pay in theaters? For the theater experience, nah, no. I would wait for it to be on home video. Like I said, it's not better than the first film, and only hardcore Mortal Kombat fans are gonna enjoy this movie. The dialogue is horrible. It's just to push the plot along. The choreography is good. The choreography is good. The special effects is good. But the dialogue is horrible. The plot, if you really just are meticulous and you want to break down the plot, it's like a kid wrote it. You know what I'm saying? It's not as bad as Annihilation, but at the same time, it's like, if you played the very first Mortal Kombat that came out, it's not gonna mesh. It's not gonna mesh with you. It's not gonna feel like a Mortal Kombat film. It's only reason it feels like a Mortal Kombat film is because they do a good job at setting the Scorpion Sub-Zero beef, and then it's not even addressed the entire film. They hint at it, but it's not even addressed. They would have done better going into the film and then having the flashback like mid-film, like when he's, I'm not gonna spoil nothing, but when he blah 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 blah, you know, they didn't have the flashback, it would have been better because it would have introduced Scorpion a lot better than what they did. They even released the first Scorpion Sub-Zero fight on HBO Max before the movie even came out, so they spoiled that entire first section. And it's like, really, dude? Like, for real, this is the best fight in the movie, and y'all gonna fucking spoil it for, you know, for at least for people that have a subscription? That's retarded, but okay. It happened. Let's move on. The story, the new characters, they have several new fighters that aren't in the games, and they're not even impressive. And then the main protagonist character that they have, that you follow, he's not impressive. They have a Power Rangers moment, like what the fuck. And then a lot of this movie is not Mortal Kombat. It's a fucking chimera full of shit that they put on screen with the wrapping of Mortal Kombat. Like, oh, this is Mortal Kombat, but we're gonna have Power Rangers, we're gonna have Highlander, we're gonna have the original Mortal Kombat. They keep fucking hinting at the original Mortal Kombat, and they're arrogant. The character Kano, when you watch this movie, is basically the movie's mascot, because he's arrogant. He's when you watch it and they're at a particular scene and Liu Kang and Kung Lao go in on Kano, they're basically describing the creators of this fucking movie. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, I don't think they're that bad, but at the same time, it's like, when you hear what they have to say and then you finish the film, you think, you know what, these motherfuckers are arrogant to set, you know, to make the film the way they did. Because most filmmakers, they make a film not expecting anything. They just make a film. Nowadays, people want a extended universe. They want to be the next George Lucas. They want to be the next Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, dude, you need to fucking focus on this one film, and if you get this one film down, then we can talk about other fucking franchises and other fucking films and you know what I'm saying? But nah, it's like, okay, we got Mortal Kombat. We're gonna make a movie. We're gonna fucking milk it. We're gonna hit people in the nostalgia, portion of their souls to milk this fucking movie because people love Mortal Kombat. They would have did better doing a Mortal Kombat Street Fighter fucking crossover, because everybody's waiting on that Mortal Kombat Street Fighter fucking crossover. They would have did way better doing that shit. Doing some shit we haven't seen in video games, cartoons, or film. But no, they chose to do Mortal Kombat. We on what? The video game is on 11 right now. I heard they're working on 12 or 13 or some shit. But they keep releasing these DLCs and these skin packs and all this other stuff for Mortal Kombat 11. And they didn't even follow that storyline. They could have did that storyline with at least, you can get 3 films out of that storyline. But they decided, no, we're not gonna do the storyline. We're just gonna do our thing. Just like what's this dude's name? Ryan Johnson with the daddy issues. You know what I'm saying? Okay, fair enough. Is the film fun? Yes, the film's fun. Is it sexy? No, not really. It's not sexy at all. If you think you're gonna see, Jay, cakes out, caked up, any of the female fighters caked up, any of the females caked up, nah. Is it bloody? It's bloody, but it's not bloody. It's not Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying? It's reasonable. It's regular. And like, I know back in the day when a film boasted about being bloody, about having fatalities and people getting murked, yeah, people got, murked. Like, people heads ripped off, gratuitous violence, gore, all that. But this film is just a regular fucking, if you are a 90s baby, 80s baby, and you grew up with Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme, it's about the same amount of violence and gore as you would expect out of one of those films. It's not Mortal Kombat. It's just a regular freaking, film with, people getting, slobber knockered, and it's not even slobber knockers. It's not even slobber knocker, because honestly, the choreography, it's not even on the level of The Matrix. You know what I'm saying? It's not even on the level of Marvel Netflix. Like the Daredevil, hallway scenes, the Punisher hallway scene. It might be as bloody as Punisher, but it wasn't that bloody. It wasn't that bad. Maybe I'm desensitized. Maybe, it's like I'm just desensitized, and unless the blood is on the level of Ash versus the Evil Dead, I'm not gonna fucking feel it. But this film is just regular. It's just regular for me. It's just like, yeah, dude, bloody gums, arm ripped off, head ripped off. They really limit the amount of blood. I mean, I guess it's still marketed toward kids. I don't even know if kids are even still playing Mortal Kombat. But it's marketed, I guess it's marketed toward teens and whatever, so they want to have it bloody, but not too bloody to where parents would not let their kids go see the film. The plot, I think I touched on it already, but the plot, like I said, that all the dialogue is just to push the plot along to the next fight. You know what I'm saying? And then that's it. And then once you get to, it's basically it's like, remember Annihilation, where Mortal Kombat Annihilation, where it was fight scene, shitty, like truly shitty dialogue, and then another fight scene. It's not that bad, but it's about this. It's along those lines. Like the story was written competent enough to where it makes sense, and you're not like forcing yourself to watch a unwatchable movie. Like the movie, you can watch it, and you can enjoy the fight scenes. You can enjoy the CGI, the special effects, but it's not like the first Mortal Kombat has that. It's the first one, so every other Mortal Kombat that comes out after that first one is gonna be is gonna be measured against that first Mortal Kombat. So the first Mortal Kombat had a story. You know, they had dialogue, they had, you know, decent jokes, they had, you know, they had his charm. This Mortal Kombat, it kind of mirrors that to where it's all linear and it makes sense and it's easy to follow. But is it the best written film to where you're just gonna be contemplating existential philosophy? Like, no, it's not. It's more like, there's the bad guy, these are our motivations, we're gonna do A, B, and C, and then that's the midpoint of the film, and then we're gonna do A, B, and C again, and that's the climax. That's it. You know, Mortal Kombat's pretty much fighting and, you know, subpar dialogue, and the fighting isn't even that good. All right, so I'm going to talk about spoilers after this right here. So this is gonna be your spoiler warning. Spoilers, 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 spoiler, 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 spoiler. And I'm just gonna spoiler. Spoilers, spoiler, spoiler, spoiler alert. If you haven't clicked off by now, then that's on you. Alright, so I just finished watching Mortal Kombat, and it's like, I was happy to watch it. It's an enjoyable film. They showed Katana's fans, which, you know, everything that you know about the franchise, the video games, the story, the lore of the video games, you might as well just throw that away, because it's gonna piss you off. So there was a point in the film, they went to some place and it was like, there's Katana's fans, but they don't introduce Katana, they don't say her name. Liu Kang doesn't have anything to say about Katana. Like, if anything, he's really into Kung Lao, like super duper into Kung Lao. And lore-wise, Kung Lao has always been an arrogant character who's been jealous of Liu Kang. But this film is like, Liu Kang is like, I don't know what to say, like this, just on Kung Lao's pee-pee. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Kung Lao was like, hey man, you know, I need you to suck me off, like, Liu Kang would have did it, like, in this film. They had a fatality out of nowhere. They kept calling their own shit. They kept saying fatality, flawless victory, and it's, you know what I'm saying, it's not like the game. It's not. It's more so like they're just talking shit to each other. And then, you know, Kano, you kind of see him, you know, playing the heel from the, you know, the moment he's introduced. Like, oh, he's gonna fuck over them at some point. Like, you expect it. It's not a shock. And then, you know, Raiden is just, you know, a plot device. You know, they say, oh, he can't get involved, blah, 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 da, da, da. And it translates into, oh, we can't afford the CGI. And then, you know, you got Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Sonya Blade, who doesn't have a mark, and she spends the whole time trying to be equal to the other guys because she wants her mark. So you have that little political thing going there. And then, what else? Freaking the main character, you know, pissed me off because he's an original character, and then it's like, he sucks. Like, I'm all about underdogs, right? I'm all about underdogs, but this dude fucking sucks. His acting sucks, his motivations understandable, but they still suck. The climax of the film, he sucked. Like, you're the descendant of one of the greatest fucking ninja shinobi in history, and they don't touch on, did this dude fight in a tournament? They don't connect that plot to the main overarching plot of Mortal Kombat. You know, it's just a grudge between two ninja clans. And they did touch on another political issue with against the Chinese versus Japanese. I know they had problems in like the history. They had problems. I know maybe the Japanese occupied Hong Kong or Beijing or something like back in the day. So there's that racism that's there between the Chinese and the Japanese. But they touch on it, but they don't, explain it well. Because most Westerners, most Americans are gonna be like, why are two Asian dudes beefing? This don't make no sense. And most, even video game people that actually play Mortal Kombat are gonna think that the Liu Kuei and the Shiryu, the Scorpion ninjas and the Sub-Zero ninjas, they're like all Japanese. So it doesn't really make any sense for them to beef unless it's a rival between two, clans. But they made it political, like racist, I'm not saying it's racist. I'm just saying like that's how it came off because dude was Bihan was Chinese and Scorpion was Japanese, and they hint at it, but they don't go all in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they playing that political angle. So you got the man versus the man versus woman. The woman wanting to be a part of the boys club. You got the Japanese versus the Chinese. And then, I don't know, Jax is weak sauce. Like, they used the dude from Supergirl, and I think he was in True Blood. I think that's the same guy. It looks like him, but I don't know. I'm doing this just like hot take. Like, I haven't done any research, but I think it's the same cat. And, dude, he was weak sauce. Like, he had some emotional moments, and honestly, he may have been the heart of the movie because, he was dealing with, not necessarily dealing with anything major other than losing his appendages, but still, it was just like, if he wasn't in the movie, I don't think the movie would have been glued together because he made up for a lot of the dead space in the movie. You know what I'm saying? You have the main character, with his motivations, which mirror the original Scorpion's, motivations, which they could have used, but they didn't. They missed the point. Like, they put him in that situation, like, oh yeah, this is mirroring that first, the start of the beef, but then they just missed the mark. Like, they completely missed the mark. Like, Scorpion just pops up out of nowhere at the end of the film, and it's like, why did he pop up? What was the motivation for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, they just wanted Scorpion in the movie. And then the main dude, he had tofus, and it's like, I don't remember any of the only Mortal Kombat character I knew that used tofus was a female named Tanya. And she was from a completely different realm. So why does this dude have tofus? Why did he have a Power Ranger moment? What is going on? Like, they missed me with that shit. They really did. If they would have just kept it like, hey, this is Mortal Kombat. This dude's fighting for his family. And, he's going to get his ass kicked, but he's going to squeak by from X, Y, and Z until the climax of the film. I would have fucking dug that. You know what I'm saying? I would have dug it. The underdog rising to the occasion. I would have dug that. But they just went up. They started on that route, but then they went like way the other direction with it. So it's like, okay. And then, like I said, they kept like trying to ride on the coattails of the original film. It has begun, flawless victory, fatality. Like, they just throw out some shit to remind you it's Mortal Kombat. I mean, if this was like Jujitsu or something, what was that movie, that horrible movie with Nick Cage? If it was like that, honestly, without the Mortal Kombat, it would have been that. It would have been that Nick Cage. It wouldn't have been as bad, but it would have been like along those lines of that Nick Cage film. And then it's like, yeah, it's like, so when you really think about it, the movie is not that good. Is it Mortal Kombat? It's not even Mortal Kombat, because it's like the prequel to Mortal Kombat. It's like the lead into Mortal Kombat. It's like this is the backstory, like why these characters are fighting in Mortal Kombat, why they hate each other. You know what I'm saying? Why they trying to kill each other? Why they going all in on each other? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what the? It's like I wanna like this movie. I really fucking do. Like, but you're not giving me anything to fucking work with. You got Goro in there for no fucking reason. No fucking reason. He's in there. You know, they give him something to do and he's dispatched like really easy. Like, this dude's a fucking boss. He ain't no goddamn Sub-Zero. Like, he shouldn't be that easy to get rid of. Reptile was in there, and you know, he didn't even, you know, have his. I mean, yeah, it's a movie, it's a translation. It's like they went it's like they took Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat, threw in Super Mario Brothers, threw in fucking Street Fighter. I'm talking about the actual films, and they just put that shit in a fucking blender and just watered down the original Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, so this shit, they hit you with the nostalgia, but then, you know, that's just to cover up the shit taste of the actual fucking film itself. It's like, fuck. I want to like this film, I really fucking do, but you're not giving me nothing to fucking work with. Like, you giving me something, like you giving me enough to keep me in my seat, but, you know, for me to be like, and I just contradicted myself because I think I said earlier that, you know, the film is worth the HBO Max sub. Honestly, like, if you were going in blind and you don't know shit about Mortal Kombat, like, it's worth the rental. It's worth the sub, because the sub is only like $13-15. So it's worth that to watch it like one time. And then there's other stuff to watch on top of that. But to go to the theater and spend money on it, like, I wouldn't. I would wait for it to be on demand, video on demand, VOD. And then when it's on Amazon Prime, like VOD, they usually charge like $19-20 to watch a fucking film that's still in the theater. It's like, nah, it's not worth that. It's definitely not worth that. You know what I'm saying? This is like one of those B movies that's really fucking good. You know what I'm saying? So, damn, I really wanted to like this fucking movie. But I'm gonna watch it again because, you know, I want to do a more in-depth review of it, like break it down more and better. But, you know, those are my initial thoughts about the Mortal Kombat movie.